There are just some things in life that seem obvious to anyone with a brain, like don't microwave metal, don't ask your ex for dating advice, and don't, under any circumstances, think that just because MacBooks are shiny and powerful, they're automatically the best choice for everyone, especially in 2025. Because guess what? MacBooks are powerful, yes, but here is the problem. Let's start with the good stuff so Apple fans don't come storming into the comments. The new MacBooks, especially the M4 and M4 Pro Max models, are absolute beasts. They are fast, like scarily fast. Editing 8K video? Done. Rendering 3D models? Easy. Running a million Chrome tabs, Spotify, Zoom, Final Cut, and somehow still being able to scroll Instagram? No problem. They also say battery like a polite British tea guest. We are talking 15 plus hours of battery life, and the fans barely whisper, if at all. The screens? Gorgeous. Speakers? Better than your Bluetooth setup. Trackpad? Feels like petting silk. Build quality? Like it was handcrafted by elves in the mountains. Apple definitely gets the hardware right. Almost too right. It is what they are good at. But, and it's a big but, you can't ignore the things Apple keeps doing that makes people scream into their pillows. Starting with the number one offender, you cannot upgrade anything. Nada. Zip. If you buy a MacBook with 8 gigs of RAM, thinking you'll upgrade later, congrats. You just bought yourself a very pretty paperweight for 2027. RAM is soldered. Storage is soldered. It's all locked in tighter than a Fort Knox. Windows laptops? Yep, not all of them. But many let you upgrade stuff. Want more RAM? Slide it in. Bigger SSD? Swap it. Want to clean the fan? Open it up. Try opening a MacBook and Apple will personally show you to your house and then tase you. Okay, not really, but you get the point. And then there is the software. A lot of people don't talk about this enough, but switching to Mac means giving up a lot of stuff you took for granted. Some programs just don't exist for Mac OS. Some websites and tools run weird. Some games flat out refuse to work. You want to run full Windows? You cannot. Boot camp is gone. You're stuck with a virtual machine like Parallels. And even then, you're running with the ARM version of Windows, which is like Windows' awkward cousin that can't go on roller coasters. Now speaking of gaming, let's just all agree to disagree on this. If you buy a MacBook to game, seek help. Yes, you can technically run some games. And yes, Apple is trying with their new game porting toolkit and shiny demos. But in reality, most AAA games still don't run natively. And even when they do, they often run worse than a potato with legs. Windows laptops with NVIDIA RTX cards just run circles around them. You want high FPS, ray tracing, mod support, or even just more than 12 games that work? You are on the wrong platform. Also, let's talk repair. You break a screen or spill some Red Bull on a MacBook? Prepare to sell a kidney. Everything is so integrated and glued together that even trained technicians cry. There is a reason iFixit keeps giving these things mediocre scores. Now, you Mac Sims might say, but Macs are premium, that's why they cost more. And sure, that is true. But how premium is it really when your $2,000 laptop has the same 16 gigs of RAM as a budget Dell? Yes, Apple has finally listened to the fans and upgraded the M4 MacBook Pro base model to 16 gigs. But come on, it needs to be at least 32 gigabytes for that price. In 2025, what are we doing? You want more RAM? That'll be another $200, sir. Want more stories? You better refinance your home. Meanwhile, Windows laptops have something called options. You want a gaming laptop? Done. A touchscreen 2-in-1? You got it. Budget machine with upgradable parts? Easy. Crazy RGB keyboard that looks like a unicorn threw up? They got that too. You can get a solid Windows laptop for $800 that handles 90% of what a MacBook does. Let's not forget AI. Apple's doing some cool stuff with Apple Intelligence, but it's still early. You get some nice features like transcription, auto replies, and photo editing. But if you want to mess with serious AI stuff like training large models or using CUDA tools, Macs are not it. Most of the tools in the AI space are built with Windows or Linux in mind, and you need NVIDIA GPUs. Macs don't even support CUDA. It's like buying a sports car and then finding out it only takes vegetable oil. And then there is Mac OS itself. It is clean. Yes, it is simple. But it's also rigid. You want to change the way your desktop looks? Tough. You want to install something that's not on the App Store and Apple doesn't like? Enjoy the pop-ups. You want to dig into the file system? Good luck. macOS is like living in a beautiful mansion where you're only allowed in 2 rooms and everything else is locked behind a velvet rope. With Windows, yes, it is messy. Yes, sometimes you wake up and your drivers are gone. But you can do what you want. You can break it. You can fix it. You can mess with it. There's a freedom that MacBooks just don't offer. And that matters to a lot of people. And here's another thing nobody tells you. Accessories and ports. Remember when Apple took away the SD card reader, HDMI port and MagSafe? Yes, those are slowly crawling back, but even now, you are living a dongle life. One USB-C port for everything. You better be a cable management wizard. Meanwhile, most Windows laptops still come with actual ports. USB-C A, HDMI, Ethernet. Stuff people still use. Also, pricing tiers in Windows makes a lot more sense. You get budget laptops that actually work fine for students and casual users, mid-range ones for creators, high-end for power users and gamers. And if anything breaks, there are thousands of third-party repair shops that won't charge you your soul. Try asking the Genius Bar for a battery swap without getting a mini heart attack. And then there is the whole ecosystem trap. Once you get a MacBook, suddenly you are looking at an iPhone, an Apple Watch, maybe even an iPad. And sure, they all work great together. But that is the catch. You can't really mix and match. Try using a MacBook with an Android phone. It's like trying to make a cat and a dog run a relay race. It just doesn't work smoothly. Also, privacy. Apple talks a big game about it. And so, they do better than some companies. But when you really look at the fine print, they still collect a lot of data, and their recent ad tracking changes have more to do with hurting competitors than actually helping you, the user. It's a bit of a performance, let's be honest. And let's not forget, if you're working in tech or studying computer science, most dev tools, IDEs, frameworks, and scripts are either better supported or only supported on Windows or Linux. MacBooks just aren't that great for tinkering unless you are deep in the Apple developer world. You want to build a PC, you want to mess with a Raspberry Pi, you want to run Windows specific code. Good luck doing it efficiently on a Mac. So are MacBooks still worth it in 2025? Honestly, depends on who you personally are. If you're a video editor, music producer, or someone deep into Apple's ecosystem and you just want something that works and looks good doing it, sure, go for it. The power is there, the battery life is great, the display is amazing. But if you're a gamer, a tinkerer, someone who likes upgrading their gear, or just doesn't want to be held hostage by soldiered parts and Apple prices, maybe hold off. MacBooks are powerful, but Windows still wins in the places that matter to everyday people: options, compatibility, flexibility, and the freedom to do things your way, even if your way is weird. So before you drop 2 grand on a MacBook because it looks cool at the coffee shop, ask yourself, are you buying what you need or just what Apple wants you to want? Anyway, that is all I got. Peace out.